Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. And Papa opened his big mouth while we were sitting by the fire and said he would like a open fire supper. So that's what we're going to get. Everything here is local, except the butter and the flour and the yeast and any sugar we're going to be using and seasonings. This is local hay-fed beef. These are local eggs. Local carrots, those are the pears off my tree. Onions, that's local garlic from Wakefield. Potatoes, these are all local. So we're going to make a stew in that. I'm going to make some bread in that, and it's going to get cooked in that Dutch oven that's warming up so that the bread can rise in it. And then I'm going to make a cake so that when the bread comes out of the oven, the cake can bake while we eat dinner. Yeah, the house is right over there, but you know what? Sometimes we just miss camping. Let's just hope you guys can see what's going on here, because my tripod broke. First things first. Let's start with the bread because it's got to rise. Tripod is done broke, folks. Oi! Okay. First things first. Let's get some sugar. Howard, I need water, sweetheart. Some sugar. And some yeast. Can you see what I'm doing here, folks? I hope so. It's upside down because of the way it's. A little bit of yeast. Well, that's a lot. In that bowl. Just about, just till I say when. That's about perfect. So this is fast-acting yeast, so we're going to get started on this bread right away. Thank you, dear. We're just going to take some of our butter and spreadable butter. And this is my camping bread pan. I remember out in the camp, dear, when those young fellas were going to cut that dead tree up with an axe and they were going to eat Kung Pao freeze-dried chicken. We told them how you're supposed to, we showed them how you're supposed to camp. Okay, so that's, my pan is buttered. And I'm just going to start adding flour. I don't have a cup to do, oh well, I can use this, can't I? My hands are clean. I have a pot over here with water in it that I can wash my hands when I'm finished. And then I'm going to use, well, I'm not going to wash my hands, I'm just going to rinse them. So let's just, this is a real simple bread, folks. Okay? It's real simple. Take the lid off this just in case I need to. Do we have any napkins in there, dear? I could use some more water. Where's, oh, there's the jug. And salt. Your baby here wants some water too. There we go, that's better. We're just gonna knead that up. Until all the flour is picked up and that we have a smooth elastic dough. Like I said, this is a real simple bread. There's no eggs. We might put a little bit of butter in here. As soon as Papa gets back, he can grab some with the spatula because my hands are obviously very gooey. I know. I need a gob of butter with the spatula in the center there, and then use that bowl to shake like a half a cup of flour in here. That's a big gob, but that'll work.
And now what do you want?
Grab that bowl and grab some flour and just shake it down on here. Excellent.
That's it.
Just leave the bowl there. I can, thank you, dear, very much. Okay, now I gotta scrape all this dough off my hands. So, into the pan this goes. First, we're going to take our little loaf of bread. This big old Findlay is nice and warm, sitting next to the fire here, so we're just going to drop our bread in there and put the lid on it, and when it rises, we'll put that Findlay right into the fire. Now let's go get our other one that we want to do our stew on. And we want this pan, and we're going to leave the handle up. We want this pan to get nice and hot so that we can sear our meat. In the meantime, we're going to go do our veg. Okay, so here, I'm going to use this flour, and I'm just going to put lots of salt and pepper in it, because that's what we're going to dredge our meat in. I may have to take my jacket off, or my little shirt. Because that's pretty much the only seasoning other than garlic. All right. Okay, the yeast can be over here. Where's the lid on my flour for now? This can be moved. This can be I have a pot here with just water in it, so that when I chop the veg, they can be cleaned in the water, because the water is going to be poured off, and then just the veg and everything is going to go in. That's going to go into this stew. I don't want to cut them on that. I'll peel them on here because the table's not that clean anyway. But we don't want to get our cutting board dirtied up. Oh, out comes the awning. Not, won't the smoke?
Is it gonna drip on you?
Won't the smoke be a problem? I am sorry for the angle, folks. Again, local garlic. I drove by somebody that lived near Briar, and I had been watching his garden of garlic grow. So when I saw that there had been one row harvested, I pulled up and said, "You got garlic?" He said, "I got lots of garlic." Mince it up. It doesn't have to be, you know, it depends on you. If you want, you know, it really finely minced, you use a garlic mincer. But we really don't. We don't mind getting a pungent piece of garlic. I honestly don't think that's enough. If you ask me, I think I better put another one in there. She's right here behind me. You could strain these vegetables.
Ooh.
Strain the water off. That's just the water off. Huh?
I gave you the meat.
Yeah, I got it.
You want me to just strain the water off?
Just strain the water off, like rinse it. You know, because I basically washed.
Strain it or half?
It's best to cut it up when it's partially frozen. It makes it easier to cut. But
Get my bricks before I break my neck.
you should get your what?
Some bricks out of this.
Yes. Where's your crate? I'm going to take this stuff over in a minute anyway.
Did you want to pour some water over this?
Yes. Thank you. Because that's basically, I just peeled everything and threw it in the water. So rinsing, Howie's rinsing off the veg. This is, that plastic can't go in the compost. All right, so now we're just going to do this.
Yeah. Knob of butter.
Knob of butter into the
fire.
the one on top of the fire, yeah. And then this is going to go in, and I'm going to... No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Here's our hot fat in the thing, and look, we're just going to do this. Learn something new every day. If you just let it sizzle and soak up the butter, right? You see that? And then we just give it one good stir. Mixing all that butter and flour together is going to make some gravy, I tell you what. And then we're going to dump our veg in. Now, let's check on our bread dough. Because this is just warm. Not quite. This is a really beautiful fire pit, dear, but it's a danger to try and get into.
I know. We'll modify it another day.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to dump the veg in here. Just like that. Oh, can you hear the sizzle there? Mm-hmm. And then we're just going to add water. The vegetables will make the rest. Now give me the phone. Careful, darling. That's why the... And we're just going to leave it there. And let's see how our bread... Is it rising? It's rising a little bit. I want to put this right down. Yeah, right down there. It's not hot, dear. And there we go. Enough of this butter for our bread. No greasy. Put some sugar in there. I guess we forgot the cinnamon, so there's going to be no cinnamon in, or flavoring. Is there any? We don't even have vanilla, but you know what, guys? This is going to be a really simple cake. No greasy. Fresh local eggs. That's pretty good. Pretty whipped up. So now, pretty sure Ma Ingalls didn't pull a measuring cup out every time she went to cook something. When they were... Where is all this water coming from? So we're just gonna beat that in there, get that going. You don't have milk, water will do. Do you know what we didn't put in? What? Baking powder.
In what?
Huh?
In what?
In the flour. In the cake. Well, let's hope the eggs will do it. Better yet, Howie, can you pass me the jar of yeast? So I'm just going to put a little sprinkle of yeast there. Here you go, dear. Because you just never know, right? There's sugar in here. There's butter in here. Maybe come out more like a sweetbread than a cake, but what the heck? A little bit of sugar. We didn't get a whole lot of pears this year, and I suppose I could have canned what I got. But you know what? We still have canned pears in the freezer or in the pantry from last year. There's a bad spot. We'll cut that off. Kind of like a pear upside down cake. We're going to take our yeast cake dough, and we're just going to pour it all over. And that is a lot of dough for this little cake. As soon as that bread comes out, this goes in. We're going to see how things are going here. Yeah, I'm going to give it a stir. We'll turn that into gravy. Yeah, it's going to be singed on the bottom, folks. Whoops. Losing it. Oh, it smells so good. Here, hold the phone. This smells so good. And you know what? It's pretty much cooked almost. But we want it that gravy. We need, I knew I should have put more water in, but.
To the side a bit more.
Okay.
I'm going to allow my...
All right. A little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Right in those ashes there. There. It's right there. Okay, now let's look. The bread has risen
Oh, look at
respectably.
That.
There. And there's our bread in the oven. It'll come out a crooked loaf, but who cares?
Oh, bubbly stew.
Bubbly stew. Oh, that looks delicious. Just leave it right there then, dear. Leave it right where it is. Good job.
Okay.
Bread's done.
Look at that.
Because it's got yeast instead of baking powder. There's no flavoring. Whew. There's the lid over here, dear. There we go. And the cake dessert is in the oven. Let's see. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Look at that. And dessert is in the oven. Warm. Oh, she's a little burnt on one side, but you know what?
That's okay.
Look at that.
Look at that.
And we've saved just enough butter for the bread. It's perfect, honey. So, try your local, all local ingredient, cooked over the open fire stew.
Oh my goodness.
How's the bread? Probably a little rough.
Oh, that's awesome.
Excellent. So, as you can see, I'm going to eat mine. Papa's going to eat his. And then we're going to have dessert. Hopefully it works out as well as everything else did. So, our sweetbread cake thing, we forgot. We were so enamored with our stew that we forgot that we needed to turn the Dutch oven. So this side is like, but this is kind of like a doughy bread. It's like bread. Yes, we did burn, we're leaving the other burnt half. Careful, honey, it's really hot. Get a little bit of the dough in there.
The pears aren't bad at all.
Well, I know you're not a big fan of pears, but careful, that's hot.
That's decent, huh? Nice.
Okay, except for the burnt part, it turned out to be like a pudding with the fruit inside. I've decided to keep this recipe, and to yeast and all. The only thing I'm going to change is to add a little bit more sugar with the pears and maybe some cinnamon. After an amazing supper, an adventurous dessert, we enjoyed some time by the fire, saying goodbye to summer with the last cookout of the year. It's been a crazy year, but moments like these will live in our memory.